Time for another update on the twin-turbo V8 911. Doesn't look like a lot's changed, but trust me, once we get underneath, you can see the boys here at NV have been pretty busy. I guess the logical place to start, Dan, is with the wiring that's hanging out the back end here. What's going on here?
Yeah, so just a reminder to some of the folks that have been following along, this car is now going to be controlled by a Haltech 2500 Elite. And one of the reasons why I wanted to go with that system is because I'm also converting to drive-by-wire, and it's one of the systems that does that very well. So we've just got a lot of the connectors laid out here, and this is a Haltech loom that's terminated from Haltech. So we're just kind of connecting all of the relevant stuff.
Is this actually an LS loom? Like it's designed for an LS swap?
It is designed for an off-the-shelf LS. I mean, I've got some unique stuff going on here, and we'll have to depin and change some connectors. But other than that, this is an off-the-shelf product for Haltech.
That's nice. It's a time saver, I suppose.
No doubt.
Although Nam might disagree if he's having to repin things. But anyway, this obviously runs through to your Haltech, which you've got mounted in a little secret cubby there.
Yeah. So one of the cool things about the interior on this car is that it has a 964 trans tunnel graphed into it to raise up the shifter, which creates a nice little recess at the back of the tranny tunnel to hide the Haltech and the wideband controller. So when it's in the car and fitted, there'll be a little cover over it with some carpeting, and it'll be nice and hidden away, but I'll still be able to service it when I need to get to it.
And what's the wideband box? Is that also Haltech?
Haltech's product as well. It's a wideband controller that manages twin O2 sensors and then feeds that into the ECU.
Okay, and you mentioned drive-by-wire. Why not throttle cable? What made you want to go this direction?
Just because I think drive-by-wire is actually an interesting way to control the car. You can do lots of control strategies with the pedal versus the throttle. I'm going to be using a BMW pedal that allows me to use a kickdown switch to control boost. So there's just a lot of fun things. Also, we can trigger a valet mode as an example. So if somebody else gets in the car with the valet mode on, even if they mash the gas, it can only open 10% throttle, or you can play with these different variables where a cable is 0 to 100 and there's no changing that.
Right.
So I just think it's kind of the modern way to go, and we're going to play with it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you think of an old car, it's just being a cable throttle car, but
yep.
I like what you're thinking. There's been some fuel system additions as well. What's going on there?
Yeah, so the fuel system is completely buttoned up now. So in the front of the car, we've got twin AEM pumps that are filtered by an AEM filter. We'll see the lines under the car that come up to an AEM regulator, through these lines, and then ultimately through Injector Dynamics 1050s.
Nice, okay. And you've got your coolant hard lines are now complete, is that right?
Yeah, so the coolant system's complete, and it's a really trick system of hard lines and soft lines, but also the hard lines allow us to do all of the water pickups to feed the turbos. So there's a cool little water neck that the guys here at NV fabricated that get fed by the pump on the side, and again underneath we'll see the hard lines that run to the front. So the coolant system is very well protected from the bottom of the car because it's all hard lines, and then it heads up to the radiator at the front of the car.
Cool. Well, let's get this thing up in the air and we'll show you all of Vin's hard work under there. We've got lots of vibrant stainless lines in here, both for fuel and for oil return line here. And of course all these aluminum hard lines are part of the cooling system that Vin's run all the way up to the radiator. Big job. It's reminds me a bit of their drift car actually, which they did the same thing on. And got their fuel lines running down the other side.
It's been a big effort down here to make sure that all the stuff is tidy. There's no interference from any of the other components, and I think they've killed it.
Yeah. Well, Dan, not to get personal, but I think it's maybe time for you to open your smuggler's box up here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. So
look at that.
Yeah. So it's we've got the battery tucked away down in there, and that is the start of what will be the electrical system for this car. So this car is a 77, the chassis, and the wiring was just brutal and cracking, and when I used to turn the HVAC on, it would throw a spark under the dash.
Oh, wow.
So this was a much needed upgrade. So actually this plate is going to be the mounting plate for a universal wiring harness kit, and that's the next big project on the car, is to get all of the lights, all of the signals, all of the accessories working, but more importantly, that feeds power to the ECU, which will allow us to finally start this thing.
Fuse panel.
That's the fuse panel.
Fuse panel, okay.
Yeah.
So that's going to allow you to finish off the whole chassis wiring aspect of the build.
That's right.
And that maybe leads us into the next episode where I hope we get to see you fire this candle up.
Well, once we've got 12 volts running, it's in theory it's going to work.
All right, let's see how much smoke it blows on startup, folks. It's time for another update on this offensive monstrosity of a 911 with its twin turbo V8. What are you thinking, Dano? This is terrible. Let's show the internet anyway. What a piece of scrap. Let's start all over.